Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new Mobile Pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to drf.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, and one of the better betting races on the Kentucky Derby Saturday card is the race preceding the Derby. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 1 Turf Classic. Race number 13. We're going 9 furlongs on the Churchill lawn. Of course, Chad Brown is well represented, but the local hope, Factor This, has won 4 races in a row for Brad Cox, 3 of them in graded stakes races. He's got speed, Mike, but looking at this field, there are some other pace horses that could compromise him early.
Yeah, we'll see. You're right. He's gotten really good in his recent starts. And in every one of those races, he was on the early lead, Dan, and there is speed to his outside in here.
Let's take a look at the time form US pace projector. Factor This, the number 1's got speed. Some like it. Hot Brown, a gate-to-wire winner in his most recent start, has speed. Spectacular Gems, very fast from the outside. Factor This outposts him. He has the inside post. Do you think they're going to think about rating Factor This? I would think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Take the race to the 2 outside horses. Make them take a seat.
Yeah, he's got him outposted for sure. And I think they will run to the first turn and see what happens. Obviously, if somebody's on a dead send from the outside, I doubt they're going to go and hook up. But I think they'll run and try and make the front from the gate.
Let's watch Factor This, his most recent effort. He handled soft ground just fine at Ellis Park. He was involved at the start with a couple of other pace horses, and he just keeps on rolling. He's going to find a little bit more. This runner-up looks like he's got a shot at Factor This, and in the last 150 yards, he finds another gear. Last 4 races, 2 triple-digit buyers, likes Churchill Downs. There's a lot to like about this horse.
Yeah, I just like his recent form, and I do think he can get the right trip in here, even with the other speed. That last race was actually good, Dan, going 1.25 miles. A couple of different horses took runs at him first before that final horse came to run second to him. He just turned everybody away. This horse is in great form.
Bowie's Hero is an underrated multiple Grade 1 stakes winner, and he's won a Grade 1 at 1 1/8. That was the Eddie Reed back in 2019. Last time out in the Eddie Reed, well, he was in against United, who's a very good horse on the West Coast, but I thought Bowie's Hero had a trip and every chance turning into the stretch, and he was just a little bit flat. Maybe he's still racing himself back into shape. This will be his 3rd start of the year.
The distance is the big question for me. I realized that he won the Eddie Reed last year, but that to me wasn't a very strong running of that race. And other than that, he's just been a lot better going a mile than he has been going 1 1/8. I still think he's a talented horse. I still think he has a chance in here. I wonder if this is his best distance, though.
I think 1 1/8 is perfect for the 3 Rock Emperor, but he's been the beaten favorite in 3 out of his last 4 races, and I'm still trying to figure out how he lost this Manhattan last time. Maybe it was the 1.25 miles that did him in. We turn into the stretch. He's in the pink cap and the yellow silks. He's going to forge past these 2 horses to his inside, and it looks like he's on his way, and he's going to get run down by his entry mate, Instilled Regard, at the very end. He's grinding it out. And it looks like he's home. And all of a sudden, he's not home. But he's rock solid for Chad. And he's a logical contender given the pace scenario.
He is. That's not a great loss there in the Manhattan. Johnny V gave him a perfect trip, and he just couldn't hold on. He still ran well. It's not a great loss, though. The more I looked at him, Dan, the more I wonder if the 9 furlongs really helps this horse.
Digital Age has won at Churchill Downs. He won the American Turf as a 3-year-old, a race where he got some pace and he came with a strong late kick. Now, it took him a couple of races this year to get back to his best. I wonder if Chad realized that and he didn't test him in stakes competition. 2 optional claiming races, including this effort last time out, where he was wide on the turn and he just finishes it off very nicely. Digital Age earned a career best 98 buyer speed figure in this race. And as a lightly raced 4-year-old, he has some upside.
He does. He's run really well in his first 2 starts of the year, as a matter of fact. I guess the question remains how far he wants to go. It did feel like as a 3-year-old, he was better around 1 mile, maybe 1 1/16, but he's an older horse now and he's better this year. So maybe the 9 furlongs will be within his scope.
Don't Blame Rocket has been beaten a couple of times by Factor This. Last time out at Ellis Park, he must have been 5 wide on the turn, 7 wide into the stretch, and he still was picking up some horses at the end of that race. I think the question is class. Is he good enough to beat these horses?
Yeah, that was my question too. I know that he was a little wide last time, but I didn't really feel like he did that much running in the race. We'll see what happens. I thought he was maybe as an outside shot in this race, but I didn't love him.
Mr. Dumas has won at Churchill Downs. As a matter of fact, he's a graded stakes winner here, winning the Commonwealth for 3-year-olds in 2019. Beaten 2 starts back by Spectacular Gem. I didn't love that race from him. I thought last time out in the Bernard Baruch, he was just compromised by the way that race was run. Some Like It Hot Brown was able to make an easy lead. Mr. Dumas was on the chase, and Mr. Dumas was only beaten a length. He was running at the end, and I don't mind him at 1 1/8. He has to step it up against better horses.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I guess he's really run some good races. If I'm being honest, I've never really bought into this horse. I know he's a graded stakes winner at Churchill. I know he's won over this distance before, and he did run fine last time. I don't know. I've never really bought into him, and it just felt like if he's going to take money, and I don't know if it'll be a short price or not, or a shorter price or not, but I wouldn't go less than 10 to 1 on this horse.
True Valor, the number 7, I believe was purchased at public auction in July for about $225,000, $250,000 or whereabouts. He's a multiple graded stakes winner, but I think his best distance is 1 mile, and he's going to be pushing it going 1 1/8 against these good horses off a little bit of a layoff.
He's run some good races, but I'm with you. I feel like he's probably better going a little shorter than this, and I don't even think his best race is going to be good enough against this field.
The number 8, Sacred Life, always hinted at some potential last year for Chad Brown, Mike, and the only time he's been off the board in North America was in the Pegasus World Cup. He raced without Lasix that day. Maybe 9.5 is a little far for him, but he came back firing last time in the Oceanport. He got a really nice ride from Paco Lopez, but Sacred Life showed agility in that race, finished it off nicely. He might be the sleeper of the Chad entrance in here.
I agree. I think he's interested in here. He ran well last time. That wasn't this quality of a field, but he won that race very easily. I even felt like going back to that Del Mar race at the end of last year, I thought he got a little unlucky in that race when he was second.
It's been a tale of 2 paces for Some Like It Hot Brown in his last 2 races. In the Fort Marcy, he had to go very fast in the early part and only to finish 3rd behind In Still Regard, only beaten a length and change. It was a really good effort. It hinted that maybe he had this race, the Bernard Baruch, in him. He was really aided when Halliday took back off the early lead in this race. And as we turn into the stretch, Some Like It Hot Brown has controlled the pace. We see Mr. Dumas, the 4, trying to get into it on the outside, but Some Like It Hot Brown just had a tactical advantage over everybody, and it was nice to see Halliday come back and win the big Grade 1 4-star Dave.
This was a good performance from this horse. He did have all the best of it, but he's very game holding on to the end. 102 buyer for that one. 2 back, as you mentioned, Dan, faster pace, probably ran just as well with another triple-digit buyer. He's in great form right now.
Spectacular Gem goes out for a really underrated trainer in James Baker, who's gotten this horse good in his last 2 wins, 2 big buyers, including this performance over soft ground at Ellis Park, where he pressed the pace, is able to make the front and go off and win nicely. I think Spectacular Gem, again, in very good form right now. This is a step up, but the biggest issue is the pace situation. He's at his best when he's on the lead, and he's got 2 fast ones to his inside.
Yeah, that was the real question for me about this horse. I'm a fan of his. I actually think he's a really good horse. I don't know if he can get the trip he needs in this race because he does need to be on the lead, it seems like.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 1 Turf Classic. There are so many ways to go. You'll take the consistency of Rock Emperor.
Yeah, I don't love him. I don't want to sit here and make a big case for a horse who could be the favorite in here. The more I looked at him, the more I felt like cutting back to 9 furlongs, it might really help this horse.
I think Mr. Dumas going to be double digits at post time. I think he ran well last time out when perhaps a bit pace compromised. I think the pace will be a little bit better, and he likes the home cooking at Churchill Downs, so I'll take a shot with him. 3-8-2-1 for Mike, 6-9-3-10 for me. It's a wide open edition of the $1 Million Grade 1 Turf Classic, and it has an approximate post time of 5:50 p.m. Eastern. Good luck.